Alrighty, hello everybody. This is Johnny with Jordan Productions, and today we're going to be going over the basics of how to use Canva. Now, Canva is a really great tool, especially if you're first getting into graphic design. It's really easy to use, a lot easier than Photoshop, but there is still a whole lot to learn. So we're going to go over some of the basics today. I'm going to teach you some really cool stuff that you can do here in this application. If you guys like this video, please feel free to like and follow the channel. I'm going to start posting some stuff like this every day, and we're also going to be posting some cool stories from our life out here in Alaska and a lot of the cool projects that we're working on while we're out here. But without any further ado, let's dive in. So the first thing we're going to talk about here in Canva is going to be this bar over here on the side. So this bar is where you're going to be able to find all of the different things you can do here in this app. First off, they have the design tab. So in here, you can kind of look and see some pre-made templates for you. If you're trying to do something like create a flyer or a social media post, you can describe what you're looking for over here. So if I was going to make a flyer for a yoga class, I can type in flyer, yoga, and it will come up with some interesting options for you to work from. Now, these are super good if you are doing social media for a small business or something and you don't have a lot of history doing that, because you're able to pick something and just edit it very quickly with your information and post it on your website. You'll also find some cool things like this where people have design stuff where it kind of really looks really professional. Now, once you have a design that you want to work on from that tab, you can edit anything in here. You can edit the logos, you can edit the text, you can change the images in and out, and I'm going to go over how to do all of that with you guys. But I'm going to keep this right here for now. We'll come back to that in just a minute. So if you ever want to delete anything out of your box, you can highlight everything just like that, delete it, and then over here, this is going to be the background here, but I can delete that as well. So that was that original thing, and then also you can duplicate your page, create a new page using these icons up here. Going across the top here, this one will shift down the current page that you're on to go beneath your next page if you do have a second page active. So for example, if I wanted that to be down here so I could work up here, or put it in a different order if I was printing it out or something like that, I can move that down. Going to the next one here, this will hide the page, so it makes it so it's not going to be in your project files when you go to share or download it. This will lock your page, so you can't edit anything on it. This will lock the positions on the page, or make it so that way it's totally locked in so it cannot be changed. This here will duplicate your page, so that will create a copy of the same page beneath your current copy. This right here will delete the page that you are working on, and then this one here will create a new blank page for you. Now, coming back over here to this sidebar, you also will see elements. Now, elements is where you're going to be able to find images to add into your photos, into your projects, and all of that good stuff. You'll also be able to use elements to put in things like shapes. You can do squares, rectangles, all that good stuff. For example, if I wanted to add to this blank page here a picture of a cat, I would just type in cat into the elements, and then I can choose if I want a graphic, a photo, a video. They can do coding for you, 3D models, audio, shapes, etc. Down here I can select whatever I want, and then when you come back over here, you're going to be able to edit that image. You can turn it using the little rotation icon down at the bottom here. You'll be able to change anything with Canva's AI that you want to, add comments, again lock that so that way it's not going to be able to change in your folio. You'll also be able to duplicate it, delete it, and so much more. Now, Canva has a lot of cool stuff that you can do as far as editing photos and graphics in here, which we'll get into in just a minute. Coming on down to our next tab is our text boxes. So you can add a new text box by using the big purple one right here. It'll give you options for what you want to do with that text. You can change the font up at the top here, highlight anything you want, and then go in and change the fonts. You can also change the size, the color, bold, italic, underline, strike through, all that good stuff, the orientation. One of my favorite things to use in here is this advanced settings tab, because you can change the spacing of your letters, and you can also change the spacing of your lines. This will also allow you to re-anchor your text in the middle of the box or the top or bottom. Coming up here too, there's also this which will change the transparency of anything you want on your design, which is going to be super helpful for you if you're trying to create backgrounds and the like. After that, they have your brand. That's a little bit more advanced, so we'll get into that at a different time, but basically you're able to save any information if you want to build a brand here on Canva, so that way when you come back to it, you can use the same logos, same colors, and same assets when you return to your projects, and you can use them across different projects rather than having to keep going back and figuring out which photos you used, which icons you used, which texts you wanted to use, and all of that good stuff. After that is your Uploads tab. On here, you are going to be able to add images, video, audio, designs, all that good stuff from your computer. Then we have all of these tools here, which are for drawing and changing the shapes and such in your design. You can save projects here and add additional apps as well. So coming into this design here, I want to go over some of the really cool stuff that you can do with photo editing here in Canva. So I pre-selected a photo that I'm going to paste right here of these monkeys kind of doing some cute stuff at a zoo. In Canva, you can definitely do simple stuff like resize your image, but they have a lot of really cool tools that allow you to change what you're doing in this app. So one of the cool things that you can do is go to the Edit tab. And if you want to go and adjust your colors, they actually have an auto adjust for you that will take that picture and kind of make it a little bit cleaner for you if you were posting it and you need to update the contrast, the brightness, or anything like that. This photo itself is actually already pretty good, obviously, a pretty good quality photo. So that adjustment's not doing a whole lot there. But let me grab something from my uploads here. Let's see. Okay, so this is a picture of a reindeer that I took, so I can go into the edit here, go to adjust, and you can see that it really brightens up that photo, makes it a whole lot easier to see. You can then go through and change the intensity of that auto correction if you want. You can also change the temperature of your photo, any tints in there, adjust the brightness, the contrast, the highlights, shadows, whites, blacks, and all of that good stuff. Change the color. If you want to invert your colors, it even has an option to do that for you. Another really cool thing that you can do in Canva is edit your colors directly. So you can pick a color out of this photo and change what it looks like. And that's really interesting for doing kind of more artistic designs and all of that good stuff. But coming back to that monkey photo, so if I have this picture here in front of me and I want to select just these animals out of it and leave the background behind, I can do something called background remover. Now this is really cool in Canva, super easy to use, and it lets me pull that image so I can use it separately within my design. They also have an option if I wanted to just use that background. I could go into the edit, go to magic eraser, go to click, and then I can just select these monkeys actually right out of this photo. And I can tell it that all I'm really looking to keep is that beautiful background that's behind there. So then I can click erase, it will take those animals out, and it will usually use some sort of AI function to fill in what that background would have looked like. You can also do the same thing with brush. So say I want to take just this monkey right here out, I can brush over him and I can have it remove him directly from the photo using some of that AI feature as well. And it will leave some artifacts behind. Usually if you continue to work on it, you can kind of edit around this, but let's go back over here. So if I have these monkeys and I really want to put them into autofocus as well, if I go back into that editor over here, they have effects down here at the bottom, and you can click autofocus and then you can change where the image is focusing onto. So right now it's selecting those monkeys. I can change the position of that focus, so I can say, okay, I really want to just focus on this part here, I want to move that focus a little bit further back, and so on. And then you can change the intensity of that blur so you can see that photo a little better, so that kind of looks like a more professional edited photo if you're working on some of your own pictures here. Now also in here in Canva on the edit tab, you can do a background generator. So let's say that I did just have these monkeys here and I wanted to add a different background. You can go into here and say I want to put these monkeys into outer space. click generate, and it will create a new background for your image for you. And this is a really cool tool to use if you are doing anything with photo editing, because you can change up what that looks like. It's also fun to do on like your family photos and stuff. Now, this is being done with AI, so if you're a kind of person that doesn't want to support AI, I wouldn't use any of those generative features. But coming back into here, you can also use things like Magic Grab. Magic Grab is very similar to that removal tool, but what you're able to do is select these parts of the image, and then you can grab them and move them freely from the rest of the image. So I'd be able to take just that part out. Sometimes it does this thing where it re-adds the background back in if you've already taken the background out, but what you can see is that it's allowing me to take those monkeys out of this photo while leaving some of that behind. Oh, there it goes. So yeah, so it will give it to you with just that outline on there. So if I bring that all the way back to that original photo, here I can click on him, go to edit, come on over to Magic Grab, and I can also use that same kind of brush feature. So let's say I wanted to get the monkeys and this branch here. I can kind of just come over here, start to brush that in. Come on over. Alrighty, and then I can grab that. And what that's going to allow me to do is to pull these monkeys free from that background while keeping that background as well. So I should be able to, and again, it usually will click on, yeah, there we go, after just a second here. So I can have those monkeys free, and then what if I wanted to extend just that background out while keeping those animals the same size? I'm now able to do that a little bit more freely, while still keeping those animals in there. So if I wanted to do something like welcome to the zoo, then I can come back over here to our zoo. I added that text box in, and you're able to move it. And then let's say here I wanted to add some effects to that text that I just added. So I just added this as an example if you're trying to do an advertisement or something for your zoo. So I added that text box in. Again, you can change the colors in here. Let's say I want to change that to white. When you come over to effects, there's a whole lot of really cool stuff you can do with this. So if you want to add a shadow, you can add a shadow to that text. You can change the colors in that shadow. You can also lift your text over here. You can kind of make it so it comes off that photo a little bit. You're also able to do things like hollowing it out, where now the inside is free from any color, and the outside still has that white on it. You can splice your text, you can outline it, so you can pick a nice color that you want to have around your letters here. Glitch, neon, all of that good stuff. This will add a background behind it, so you can kind of manage your words a little bit better. I kind of like how that looks for the moment, so I'm going to say welcome to our zoo, just like that. So that is some of the stuff that you can do with text and photo editing. Now coming back up to here, so if I was going to want to make a flyer for myself out of this, so let's say I run a yoga studio, I'm trying to make something quick for social media here, I can change all of this information. So let's say that this is a yoga class, but it's for yoga and meditation. So I can take this text, go in here and add and meditation. Obviously, this is too big for this space, but they are able to manipulate this text box here, and without even coming up to the font size, I can adjust the size of that box by doing this here. Now you can make that so the section changes where you're allowing the text to be, and then you can also change the font size. So I think that this kind of looks good with this underneath here. Make that a little bigger. Bring that up here, and then like I was saying before, I really love this advanced settings tab here because you can change that line spacing, so I can bring that bottom word meditation in a whole lot closer. And let's say I really like this word classes on there, but I don't like this Mandolina script. I can then come over here, change that font to something else while keeping that text. So meditation classes, now it's going to look like that. Now this background here, I believe is an image. If I want to replace that, I can then come over to elements, and let's say I wanted to have a Zen studio background. So I can choose from the photos it offers me, from the graphics, from the videos, and then I can also generate an AI image if I wanted to do that instead. For now, I'm going to use this picture here, take that other photo out, and replace that in just like this. Now, this is obviously in front of some of the other things that are here. I'm going to then go to Positions and click Send to Back. Now, as you can see, obviously that put that in the back of the image, really awesome. If I wanted to choose exactly where it goes, I can then come over on this top over here to where it says Layers. You can then click on Layers and you can edit where everything is in this photo as far as the layers. So if you want to move stuff behind or in front of something else, you can do that here. Now, like I was saying, there's some really cool stuff that people make in here. This kind of little background thing is separate, so I could move this lady out of the way and take this out if I wanted to, or I could leave it with this kind of cool phone background here. But like I said, I changed the background in here, and I think that I would like it better if it didn't have that phone, so I'm going to take that right out, and I'm going to move her back here. So now she kind of looks like she is doing some yoga right next to my rocks. You can then highlight sections of things that you want to move instead of doing individual boxes. And you can highlight those, move them over, move them back, move them up, move them down, all of that good stuff. You can change the text size up here and it will change everything all at once for you. And then you can also separate out these groups by changing them just like this and moving stuff up and down. A lot of these templates and stuff will have something on here that says like really great site, or it will have a place to put your phone number, all of that good stuff. It's just sort of reminding you what you should have on here for what you're using it for. But yeah, that is just some of the basics of stuff that you can do here in Canva. This is just going to be lesson number 1 in this small series that we're going to be doing. But I hope you found something you liked. If you have any questions or stuff that you do want to see in here, please let me know in the comments and I will be sure to add that in our next video. Thank you guys so much for coming and watching today. I hope you learned a little something. And again, remember to hit that subscribe button as we will be posting videos like this a whole lot more often. Thank you guys so much for coming, and we hope to see you in the next one. Bye-bye.